Here's shooting. Access the gun, point it at the target, pull the trigger. Don't shoot anything else but the target. Put it away. But am I missing anything? So what else is there? All of the little minutia, right? So how I want it to be repeatable, so how I connect to the gun. If I am not connected in the same way every single time, one of his mentors and a guy that I've spent some time with, Dr. Middlebrooks, does a block of instruction on a nuance of the pistol being moved this frickin' much in your master grip. And it seems like nothing, but it can change a lot. Can you guys do me a favor and point at me right now with your finger? That's what has to happen when the gun comes out. This part of it is as simple as that. Does that make sense? And we can do all the dry fire, we can buy the fancy attachments and lasers and all that, but none of that makes you do the part that you have to do. Make sense? All of those things are just peripheral. If I go buy the best basketball shoes, am I any good at basketball? Nope. So if I'm in the appendix position as I go to retrieve the gun, we've got a couple of key things, right? I've got to get the cover garment out of the way, and I got to obtain the master grip. So support hand is going to clear the cover garment. Multiple ways to do that. I don't like plucking. I don't like plucking because what happens when our shirt gets sweaty? If I'm dressed, please tell me your name again, Boston. Mike? Boston Mike. If I'm dressed like Mike, he's got that big hoodie on, go to the bottom of the garments, get a good grip on those garments, and just come straight up, bend at your elbow. And that's something you can dry rep for days, right here. Yes? As I clear it, now I've got all this space exposed, my hand comes right to the gun. I can train like some guys are now, where I hover with my hand right on the cover garment and my other hand where it's right on the gun, because now I gain 0.2 of a second so that I look cool in a video. But is this how you walk around? No, so train for the realities of the world. You've got groceries in your hand. Groceries get dumped, and I go to the gun, yes? So think about bold movements to burn in those reps. If I'm here, the same thing. If I don't have a cover garment on, or if I do, I still have to clear it and go to the gun. Who's carrying on the hip with cover? Raise your hand. Guys, I can't see this when you're behind people. So if you've got an open cover garment, we're going to sweep it open, right? Yes, no? Sweep, catch with your forearm and punch down to the gun, yes? If I've got a cover garment on like this, where am I going to grab the garment?
Near the gun, under the hem.
It's under the hem, yes, but over the gun. If I grab up front, the hem. He said the ham. Down there they say ham. Say ham. Ham. No, it's okay. You can say ham. I say, people make fun of me. I was somewhere the other day, and the guy's like, "Are you from Chicago?" And I was like, back off. Grab over the gun. If we don't grab over the gun, I can pull the gun up, and I'm being a little bit extra with this. I'm stretching out my new shirt, too. But we end up hooking things onto the gun, especially if you've got optics and things like that. So grab over the gun, pull straight up, and clear it. Make sense? Butt cheek, same thing. Grab as far back as you can and pull up into your armpit. We'll kind of watch you and we can adjust some of that. This is not a basic pistol class, so we just want to make sure that we're doing good shit there. Yes? Yes. Support hand is never going in front of the holster on the way in or out. Yes? It's either holding the cover garment or we'll come up to our chest here and get it out of the way if we don't have a cover garment. Make sense? Yes. Let's look at that. So sometimes in a lot of things in life, but shooting especially, we develop traditions that are not really best practices. This tells safety officer John Austin that man's not going to shoot his hand. Lay it flat on your chest. Draw. Join your hands. But is that how we draw? No. So in reality, the gun comes up and we connect them. Paul calls it the collection point. Collect, don't you? I do. The collection point. So I'm going to prep this hand so that it can meet, right? They're going to meet somewhere around here. So support hand's going to come to the center of the body. 1, 2, 3, collection point, 4, punch out. Yes? Yes. Bring the gun back in. We could call this position 3, or what else maybe? Yeah, compressed ready, high compressed. So there's a bunch of nuancy names depending on what flavor of person you spent your time training with. Position 2, Trigger guard's clear. Is my holster clear? Yep, I'm in no rush here. Notice my muzzle's not going to anybody but the dirt. Look, I'll move my hip out too. I don't want to, every time I point a gun at myself, there's an opportunity to shoot myself. So if I need to, I can bring the gun around to go to the holster. Make sense? So again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, trigger guard's clear, my holster's clear, it's safe to holster. We're not racing these guns back into the holster. Make sense? Let's come to the line and let's dry fire it for a minute and we'll make sure everybody's cool. If you guys are cool, then we'll talk about grip. Most self-inflicted gunshot wounds in training happen right here, in and out of the holster, in and out of the holster. And because we're thinking about the shooting part and not what has to happen when I take this deadly weapon off of my body and get it away from me. Or people get shot doing stupid shit. 1, 2, 3, 4. And recover. Now check this out. If we keep doing this, we're going to get really good at whatever it is you're doing. But I see some very malformed grips. So we want to now fix our grip. About half of you have grips that we can improve upon. I'm going to have Paul talk about it in just a second. Stepping out. What should a grip do for us? Just, what's that? Stabilize. So stabilize. What else? Repetitive. So it should be something repetitive. What are you going to say, Christian?
Keep someone from taking it away.
Okay, so it should be robust so that in a violent scenario, somebody can't take it away from us. What else? So how about this? How about this? All the way we hold the gun, it should help that gun appear in front of our face so we can align it, right? Easily, repeatably. It should do it in a way that helps us, I'm going to grab the blue gun, helps us manipulate the gun in a way that we're not causing it to have malfunctions. And by that, guys will say it jammed. Usually it doesn't just jam. You did something. If it's a functioning gun, go to any gun store now and buy a $200 gun or a $10,000 gun. They all work pretty good nowadays. They don't when you do something. A grip needs to stop this from happening. And because when this happens, where's the energy going? It's no longer reciprocating the slide, it's going here, which means now all that energy that should have cycled the action, expelled the spent case, inserted a new one, is spent doing this. So then you get stovepipes and short cycles and all that shit. Make sense? So I've got to have a grip that allows that to happen. I also got to have a grip. Guys will go install bigger slide lock levers or mag catches in their grip. Remember that class, Kanan, where that dude every 30 seconds dumped his Glock 34 mag to the ground? And finally I was like, dude, let me see your pistol. He had installed a magazine release, am I joking? That it was 1/2 inch off the gun and it was screwed into the plastic. He drilled a hole into the plastic and it was made to do this and then ran a screw in. It was 1/2 inch. That's stupid. So is my grip causing the gun's controls to be actuated or move when they shouldn't be? So we've got to be able to, fix that as we go. What else does a good grip do for us? It allows us to shoot quickly, right? If the gun's going like this, and then I got to realign it and then find everything, or if the gun's moving in my hand, if it's moving here, I'm going to have to keep moving my shoulders and elbows to try to align the sights. Who shoots a dot? Who's ever said, oh, I lost the dot? Sans the dot actually dying, but you not being able to see it, all that happened is you no longer were presenting it in the same relationship to your eye. People think shooting handguns is harder than shooting rifles because they're short. That has zero to do with it. If I put a buttstock on here, it becomes just as easy as shooting a rifle because now I have a cheek weld, right? I can plant my cheek to a line of reference to the sight. That doesn't exist here. So all of this I can move around. So I need to figure out like the first person shooter game thing where this thing's just gonna float 27.1 inches or whatever it is from my dominant eye cheekbone in the same spot all the time.